I get often asked which backpack I can recommend to wildlife photographers for carrying their super telephoto lenses, and it's a tricky one because often you want to carry a big super telephoto lens like a 600mm f4 or maybe a 100 to 300mm, a 400 to 8, a smaller zoom lens and 2 camera bodies, and many people also want this in a format that they can still bring on an airplane if they need to, that it goes as a cabin luggage, as a carry-on, and will not be checked in. And in the last few months I have been using the Shimoda Action X40 version 2 with the new core unit that is large enough to fit a 600mm f4, even the large RF 600mm from Canon, which is significantly larger than the Sony 600mm f4 or the Nikon 600mm f4. And it's a great option if you want to carry your big super telephoto lens and still have a backpack that goes in the airplane. But sometimes when you are actually on location, you still might want to basically have the camera attached to the telephoto lens. And this is usually not possible with a photography backpack that still fits within the carry-on limit, because it's just physically not possible. However, this backpack here has a roll top and you can open the core unit to the top. So at the moment, as you can see the backpack right now, there is actually inside the RF 600mm f4 with the Canon EOS R1 mounted to it, and that's an option that I really like and have not really seen with many other photography backpacks. And there is also some other neat little things about that backpack that I really enjoy, and that's why I decided to make this video. My first impression of the backpack was that I really like the materials. They seem somehow durable and they seem like they are quite water resistant, and also the zipper feel really well done. And this was a problem that I had with some other backpacks. Sometimes it was these rather small zippers that I had the impression were a bit too small, and two of my f-stop backpacks actually had a broken zipper. And that's a bit a nightmare because you cannot easily exchange this. You just need to hope that it works with warranty, but even then you have shipping costs. So I have a good feeling here, but of course this is not a long-term review yet after only a few months of using. The backpack comes in different colors. I was kind of hesitating between this green and the yellow that I really liked from the color, but the problem with the yellow is sometimes I leave my backpack somewhere behind, I take pictures, I go after an animal, and then I go around to have it in a different position, and suddenly the backpack appears in my background in the image. And I had it far too often also with my black backpacks that they actually ruin the shot, and I thought with the yellow backpack I would have kind of the same issue. And this one, I think maybe you can see it blends a bit more into nature, into the environment, so that's why I went with this green. And I also like about this color that you don't see the dirt so easily as with a black backpack, especially if you have this mud. I was recently in southern France and my black backpack looked just horrible afterwards. I put you the exact specs again in this corner so you can have a look, also if you want them in imperial units or something. Let's have a look at the backpack itself now. So what I really enjoy is there is so many small bags or side pockets where you can store things. So on both sides here you have this pocket which has different sub-compartments, and you can also open only the outer part. These are usually used for putting the tripod in. I had this on the way when I came. Obviously now the tripod is in use and filming me. On the other side you have the same pocket, but the backpack also came with two of these nets which are great for water bottle holders. In this box, or in this pocket itself, in this integrated one, you can fit, like, I would say, ½ liter PET bottle or something. But if you have a bit thicker bottle such as this one, this will not fit, and I think these nets are very convenient. I just mounted one of them because I rarely use on both sides of them water bottles, but it's nice that we have this. And I also enjoy that we have on both sides, both on top here and on the bottom, which is closed right now, some straps, as I mentioned, on both sides, up and bottom, and the same also in the front of the backpack if you want to put, I don't know, a rain jacket or whatever on the outside here, or maybe your sweater, your hoodie if it gets too warm. Nice to have these options here. And with f-stop, I feel like they're a bit limited what they deliver. You often need to buy more separately, and here I feel like they come with enough straps already shipped directly. Let's stay here at the front. We have the, I will call it laptop compartment. So you have a front pocket here and then the actual laptop compartment, which is a bit, well, it's a bit protected. And my 16-inch MacBook Pro fits in here easily. And here you have two smaller pockets on top. I usually use them for putting my SSDs or something small that I usually also use with the computer. On top we have this so-called roll top that you can basically adjust how much you want. I can also close it like this if I want to store some extra food in here or more clothes. And we have one small pocket here, or basically over this zipper here you can access the whole roll top, as you can see. And there is also one small pocket here. Currently I just have my Swiss Army knife here, but would also work great for batteries or other things. And if we have a look into the roll top itself, I hope you can see this well. I will take out my t-shirt. Basically you have a lot of space here, and you have kind of a divider between the roll top and the main compartment, which is really nice. And this divider, it might look a bit weird that this is so big, but it actually makes tons of sense, and I will tell you in a minute why. I have more random stuff here, and there is a second pocket that maybe I should use a bit more often, that the stuff is not rolling around so often, and I really enjoy having this extra pockets. And for example, in my Nia Evo 60C backpack that I also enjoy to use, I don't have these subdividers up here in the roll top, and that makes it a bit more tricky because everything gets kind of mixed up. Also here the roll top seems of quite sturdy material, and it's not super well protected against hits or something, but again a bit more than my Nia Evo 60C, so I think this is a nice compromise between saving weight and space and still protecting your stuff in there a bit. Before we go to the main compartment, the main show of the backpack, I want to quickly talk about the straps. So we have, of course, the shoulder straps here. You can adjust them on 3 height levels. I have it on the L at the moment. For reference, I'm 177 meters tall, so, well, actually not that tall, but I still prefer the L somehow. If you are a woman, there is also an option to get, when you purchase the backpack, to get like women strap that are optimized more for the woman body. And as far as I know, you can get them free of charge. So you just need to pick this option. And I think it's really nice of Shimoda that they also think of women, because I have the feeling with photography backpacks in general, they're often designed for men who often have a bit different body shape, and therefore this it just ensures that it's comfortable for everyone. What I really enjoy here is these pockets that you have. I thought they would be great for having kind of, well, in German we call them Müsli bar, like a small bar or protein bar where you can have some snack, but it actually easily fits my iPhone 14 Pro at the same time as the bar. You can put several batteries in here, maybe now mosquito spray or whatever you want. Let's get to the waist strap here. First of all, it is removable in case of, I don't know, you want to board a plane and want to make it look even smaller, you could remove it. I find it quite comfortable, and in general, the backpack is very comfortable. I like how it feels on the back. And this is one of my favorite things about this backpack. I will talk about this more in a minute, but let's have a look at the main compartment. I will try to open it without me trying to without losing all the equipment. So I had more stuff in here before, but obviously my R5 and the 35mm f1.8 are already filming me, but I have here microphones. I have a 100 to 500mm lens. I have a wide angle. This is the RF 14 to 35. And here's some small things. And then the main cool thing is that now I have here the 600mm f4 with the R1 attached. You could also open the core unit on the side, so to have side access. I don't think this makes so much sense with this backpack, to be honest, especially since most likely you will use it more for big equipment, I would say, but this is also an option. What I also like is that you can put this back quite easily. It's a bit hard with one hand, but as you can see, it fits quite easily, and I can even put this with an extender on if I want. The only downside of this setup is obviously that the top of the camera is not so well protected anymore. because it extends up here. So here what I knock on is basically the R1. It stops here. This is not an issue at all, in my opinion, if you just walk through a forest, go for a hike, and you want to have the camera basically quickly ready, or maybe it's a bit raining and you don't want to change the lens camera, detach and reattach this all the time. For these situations, it's great. If I'm traveling by train or bus, even maybe by car, I would probably not put it like this in, because I just think it's a bit less protected. That's why I put the t-shirt on there before. And this is also why I mentioned before that it's nice that this roll within the roll top, this divider here is quite large and flexible, because it means I could even put a 2-point extender now and I have enough space. On the other hand, if I one day maybe only want to go for macro photography and maybe some landscapes, I just have maybe 2 bodies, 2 lenses, then I could take a smaller core unit, and the mesh or the divider here basically goes down, and they can also use the space from top. So that's a really nice solution. As I mentioned, for traveling, I would just detach the camera, then you can close the core unit with the 600mm inside and put the R1, the R5 Mark II and even the 100-500 still in the core unit, and then it's well protected. And anyway, if you are going for air travel, you need to close the core unit, otherwise it will exceed the dimensions of carry-on luggage for most airlines. A few more words to the core unit. Compared to f-stop and some other core units or internal camera units or however they are called that I had, it feels a bit stiffer on the outside, which I actually like. It's just slightly more annoying to put it in for the first time, but otherwise I feel it's stiffer, it's better protected. And these ones here are stiff, and at the same time they are quite thin. I think they offer enough protection but don't waste too much space, which I again think is great, especially if you have a rather compact backpack such as this one and still want to fit a lot of equipment. I also like this kind of pale bluish color. With a completely white dividers and white inside, you just see the dirt very easily. With a black one, it's not a big deal for me, but sometimes if I had small things like a lens cap and it was already after sunset, I had a bit of trouble finding it. I needed to either use my hands to find it or use a flashlight. So I like the choice of color. Here we have a second laptop compartment, which is a bit smaller. I have only used this so far for workshops when I provided the clients with some A4 printed handouts. And it is quite thick, and this is really nice because it means that the backpack is very comfortable to carry, even if the 600mm here is attached. And that's in general a bit a trade-off with these rather small backpacks that are still well, carry-on compatible. You need to fit this big 600mm with the, in this case, with the lens hood in it, and at the same time it should not bother you in your bag. And with my Tilopa it was okay-ish. I felt the Nia Evo 60C was really a bit tricky, at least for my bag. I felt it almost all the time, and I needed to put a t-shirt or something to balance it a bit out, and this one feels so much better. So just in terms of comfort, this is really great. And overall, if I would summarize my experiences, there's 3 things that I really like about this backpack. First of all is the flexibility. If you close the core unit, you can transport your stuff, and it should fit in basically all carry-on for the major airlines. But if you afterwards walk around, you can also extend it and have the 600mm attached to the camera for quicker access and less risk of sensor dust or something. The second thing is that it has so many small pockets where you can put things in. I think it's really a well thought through backpack. And the third thing, that it's really comfortable to carry. Also, these waist belts are more comfortable than the one of my Nia Evo 60C. Finally, also in terms of environmental impact and also for saving money for you, if you have a backpack at the moment that you're happy with, I don't think there is any need to change. I'm doing these videos mostly for people that are looking for a new backpack, maybe because their old one broke, or maybe they bought some new equipment and now it doesn't fit in the old backpack anymore. I think we've all been there. That's who this video is for. And in this case, if you are in the market for a new backpack, I would just encourage you, maybe check some other videos if you want, but have a closer look at this Shimoda Action X40 version 2 with the large core unit.